It's great to see you, Lan Anh. So,
Yeah.
Lan Anh, you're a lecturer from the University of Law at the Hue University in Vietnam.
Yes.
And you're going to talk to us today about the activities of legal dissemination and education, experiences of some countries in the world, and implications for Vietnam.
Yes.
Well, the internet is yours, Lan Anh.
Yes. Hi, everybody. I'm Lan Anh. I'm lecturer at Hue University of Law in Vietnam. And today I would like to talk about the topic, the activity of legal dissemination and education is experience some country in the world and implication for Vietnam. There are three main contents in my topic. The one, the legal dissemination and education in Vietnam, and two, legal dissemination and education in some country in the world, and three, the implication for Vietnam. The first, legal dissemination and education in Vietnam. Law dissemination in education is the first stage of law enforcement process and had a very important role in strengthening socialist legislation and building the legislation state of Vietnam socially, a country of the people, by the people, and for the people. Stemming from the important roles and the significance of law dissemination and education, party and state always pay attention to it work. Meeting the requirement, the National Assembly of the Socialist Republic of Vietnam, term 13, at the third session on June 20 June 2012 passed the law on legal dissemination and education. The law consists of the 5 chapters and 41 articles, which are important legal pay in raising the legal awareness for people in the present condition with the following basic content. First, regarding citizen right to legal information and their responsibility to learn and study law. This is an important content to institutionalize the direction of the Communist Party of Vietnam, concretizing the basic rights of citizens stipulated in the Constitution of the Socialist Republic of Vietnam. The law on legal dissemination and education affirms that Vietnamese citizens have the right to be informed on the laws and have the responsibility to actively of state to ensure and create conditions of citizens to exercise their right to legal information through consultancy activity, guidance on legal inquiries, information provision, legal documents, focusing on law dissemination and education for people in ethnic minority, marginalized, deafblind, and remote areas, borders, coastal areas, islands, and regions in extremely difficult socio-economic conditions and fishermen. Two, state policy in law dissemination and education and socialization of law dissemination and education. Specifically, the law has identified socialization policy in law dissemination and education with a various of forms such as grassroots conciliation, legal book case, exploitation and integration in cultural and arts activity. Activity of political and mass organization, club and other cultural institutions at the grassroots level. Stipulating the state policy to encourage and support the conditions for social agency and organization in law, examination and education, stipulating the mobilization of the entire political system to participate in legal examination and education through the identification of the specific responsibilities of agency, organization, families, and individuals. Three, Council of Legal Examination and Education. Through the common practice of legal examination and education, in recent years, the model of the Council for Coordination of Legal Examination and Education is an interdisciplinary coordination model that plays a very important role in improving effectiveness of law examination and education. Therefore, in the conclusion number 4 of the Party Central Secretary Commission required promoting the active and creative role and creative role of the Council for Coordination of Legal Popularization and Education, and of the member of the Council in advising and organizing the implementation of law examination and education plan in each agency, unit, and locality. 40ly, regarding the Law Day of the Socialist Republic of Vietnam, in order to honor the Constitution, laws, and educate the stand of respect and self-discipline to implement the law for cadres, civil servants, officials, and the people, and at the same time to remember the day of promulgation of the 1946 Constitution, the first basic and important law material of the state of Vietnam. The law on legal examination and education has taken 9th November every year as a law day of the Socialist Republic of Vietnam. Fifth, content of legal examination and education for citizens. In principle, the content of legal examination and education must ensure to cover promulgated legal documents. However, because the number of legal documents issued annually is very large in all areas of social life, the effective legal examination and education activity have to select areas that are directly related to the life and professional activity of the people, or direct impact on certain industries and fields suitable to practical situations in its specific area. On that basis, the law on legal examination and education stipulates that for popular content and legal education are provision of the Constitution and legal documents, focusing on the provision of the civil law, criminal, administrative, marriage and family, gender equality, land construction, environmental protection, labor, education, health, defense, security, traffic, basic rights and obligations of citizens, power and responsibility of duly promulgated state agency, official and public employees. In international treaty with the Socialist Republic of Vietnam is signatory international agreements. In addition to the provision of the law, popular content legal education also includes a sense of respect for the observance of the law, a sense of protecting the law, the benefits of observing the law, and good example. The good in law implementation contribute to creating confidence in the law, building new people who are poor knowledge about the law and constantly abide by the law. Regarding the form of law dissemination and education. The law on dissemination and legal education has provided many popular and diversified forms of the legal education in order to best meet the rights and the need to learn the law for all subjects in society, ensuring disseminating and educating law effectively in the practice such as press conference, press release, and so on. 7. Legal education and in educational institution of national education system. The law on dissemination and education stipulate that legal education in educational institution of the national education system is integrated into the educational program of all educational level, and training level is a content in the secondary education, high school, vocational education, and higher education. The law generally stipulates requirements for the legal education content in the educational program of each educational level: preschool, primary school, junior high school, vocational education, and higher education. Accordingly, the legal education of the national education system is developed in accordance with each educational level and training level. Training disciplines ensure consistency, universal, basic, practical, synchronized, and systematic for the form of legal education. Such as it's a very activity. So such as more subjects in law, specialized law as a vocational education institution, and in the to content, I would like to talk about the activity of legal dissemination and education in some country in the world. First, Thailand. Thailand does not have a specialized agency to manage and implement of the work of law dissemination and education. Participating in law propaganda and dissemination activity are many state agencies and private organizations such as the Ministry of Justice, the Prosecutor Institute, the Court, the Law Association, University, and law firm. For example, the Association of Law had an information office specializing in disseminating information on new legal documents. At the same time, there are separate Channel 11 on Thai television, twice a month on some legal content. The law department of Thammasat University often provides legal dissemination activity to the people and organize short training courses on legal knowledge for grassroots government leaders. Commonly used forms of legal education are lecture and on law for people in residential area through the prosecutor lecturer of the university, law department, and publishing document and law book. I want to talk about Singapore. Like Thailand, Singapore does not have a specialized agency to manage and implement law, dissemination and education. State agencies within their duty are responsible for disseminating and legal information to the people and subjects under their management. Singapore Prosecutor Institute has an important task in law dissemination and education. One of the tasks in Singapore Prosecutor Institute is to educate for and foster law for state officials. To carry out this task on 5 units of the Prosecutor Office, Department of Civil Law, Department of Criminal Law, Department of International Affairs, Department of Drafting Documents, and Department of Legal Reform are responsible for training the legal content that the unit is in charge of for state agency through the organization of CUHK seminar. Two modes of organizing legal education and retraining. First, organized by the Prosecutor Institute, and second, at the request of the ministries and friends, the Prosecutor Institute sends the rapporteurs to represent. Regarding legal aid, the state of Singapore does not require mandatory legal aid for the poor. The Singapore Association currently provides this legal assistance only in the criminal sector. I want to talk about France. On the 1991, the National Assembly of the Republic of France promulgated the law on access to the law, and 1998, the National Assembly passed the law on the access to law to achieve the goal. All citizens must know the law, know their rights and obligation, enjoy on means related to the law to protect their legitimate rights and interests. In order to do well the work of law dissemination and information and access, over the year in France, a legal access consulting council had been set up. Under the law on access to law in 1998, the council were established as a national and provincial level. I want to common form of legal access in France include through activity of law dissemination, legal consultancy, and guiding on law implementation by council members. Legal education in school, examination and access law through the press information about new legal documents. Documents related to people are published by press, and a model of legal house established in residential area to help people access the law, have solve conflict and dispute through mediation. I want to Australia. In Australia, there are many agencies and organizations involved in legal examination and education, including the very important role of the Australian Human Rights Commission to bring the law to the people. The Australia Human Rights Commission carry out a number of activities, work with teachers and students to build affiliate program with online groups, via CD room and video tape sources. Work with employer to provide information and resources to reduce workplace discrimination and harassment. Work with a community group to provide information and resources to support their work. Working with members practicing law, organizing seminar and publishing updated journals on legal issues. Host the country to organize conference and events such as the annual Human Rights Award and so on. I want to talk about the United States and Canada. In the two countries, few must be published before official enactment, which means the National Assembly session give people the opportunity to recommend ideas to members of parliament and or to join the meeting. The draft law by law must be published before being officially published in the official gazette of the government. Currently, in the United States, Canada, and many other countries, all legal documents and legal documents are published on the internet. For example, all legal documents and drafts are available on the website on the U.S. House of Representatives. In Vietnam, like in Vietnam, is the same. Even so, the most important thing is for people to make sure they can find all the laws that are relevant to the topic they are interested in. This requires legislation to be published centrally before it becomes effective. In other words, the law cannot be enacted or published without being published in the official gazette. The same goes for legislative document. For example, that's on and the free content. I want to talk about the implication.
Ms. Lan Anh, sorry, can I interrupt you there? I think we just come to the end of your time. I'm sorry if we start, but thank you very much. And we did have some questions coming into you about the interesting things you were talking about. So I think if I can just ask one of them. It was interesting to hear you said that living and working according to the Constitution and the law is actually part of the Constitution. So this sort of promulgation of the idea that people have to study the law really, or to know the law, and of course you were talking about the different jurisdictions where often there are groups there who perhaps are meant to sort of encourage people to understand the law, but actually at times some of their activities are restricting who can actually learn about the law for various reasons. And one of the questions that came in, you touched on human rights in Australia and the idea there. When it comes to minority groups, perhaps those who usually wouldn't get an opportunity, perhaps in Vietnam, does the law actually, I'll read it out to you, does it explicitly obligate some form of formal legal education to enhance its number of people from minority groups? Does the law do this in Vietnam?
The human rights in Vietnam, in the Vietnam improve the legal system, create a favorable environment for the law to come to light, accomplish and transparent legal system with few holes, no overlaps and conflict will help the strategy to come to light, socially accepted, recognized and followed. It's necessary to continue propagating, disseminating, and educating law in the direction of change the way people think and view the law. In order to do well the work of law propagation, dissemination, and education, it is necessary to learn about the people's attitude to the law. How do they understand the law, and what the role the law play in their lives? I think further strengthening the right to participate in the people comment to the bill. The people contribution to the law project has a rich and effective propaganda, dissemination, and legal education, providing complete systematic legal information to each view to serve the work of law. And it's
Okay. I think you've helped us. I think you've helped us there. Anyway, thank you very much for an interesting presentation. I'm afraid